Well, hello, and welcome to Pieces of Pat Paints. I am Pat. We're not actually painting today. We're still prepping. Today's the beginnings of the assembly, so we're going to put a couple things together today. Unfortunately, my cats got in here again, and they lost one of our little loopies. So we're going to glue these on today, but we might have to make another one. And I should have put them in like a little cup or something, but they were drying, and then I got wrapped up with other stuff, and I think everybody knows how that stuff goes, just in life and in general, and how that kind of all plays out in your life. It's not always doesn't always work out in your favor, and that's okay. You kind of gotta just take those punches as you go. Okay, so we're gonna kind of start looking at what we've got to get done. First off, let's go ahead and put some glue down on some of these pieces that we know. Oh, my rolly thing's not sitting right. There we go. In order to get this mic exactly in the right place for the best kind of light, to be as clear as possible. My wheels have to be at the exact right angle to get it in there. Hopefully this grill glue is still good. Alright, here we go. It's always fun to crack a fresh tube. Should still be good. It was fresh. It is. Ooh, and it's bubbling out already. It's going crazy. Alright. And they calling me. Some unknown 877 number. Leave me alone. Oh, I just shot it right down the side of the tube. Anyway, this is already off to a great start. That's okay. We're going to put that, twisting it on always like makes it start coming out. Alright. Happy Friday. Thank heck you're here. I need a break from watching the audit videos, and they were making me angry. Oh god, audit. Oh, that sounds bad. I don't even know what that is, Shy, but that sounds terrible. I don't even know what videos about auditing just sounds like a. It's like, is this my funeral? Did I die? So, I love this gel Gorilla Glue super glue. It stands up really well. And it dries pretty good too. But it's sticky on its own. And it won't run all over the place. Some super glues kind of run around a little bit. Wrong direction. All right, there's one. Here's two. So we're definitely gonna have to make that next one. But there's two of them for us on there. It's, you know, no big deal. And my cat probably stepped in it and it caught on her fur and then she walked off with it. Which, you know, that's funny in a way. Its own special kind of fun way. It's funny. But the good thing is we don't actually want to glue these two pieces together just yet. Yeah, it's just videos going over police interactions and devastating, or in devising the legality of them. You'd love it. Actually, I probably would. That actually sounds something like I would actually be like, oh yeah. I'm going to throw that around here. Alright, let's go ahead and fix this little issue from yesterday. This is just a parchment paper that I put that glue on. You know, when it's squirting out like that and it's just oozing off the top. You got to find some way of utilizing it, and that parchment seems to be like the best thing to put your super glue on to kind of like keep it and utilize it for later. Alright, let's get this on here, right? No, not on my finger. There we go. I actually have to get a little bit of glue out. That may not have been quite enough to get it to set up. It's always hard to tell until it grips. Super glue is funny. It's a funny product. They actually, it's not as strong as it used to be. Super glue used to be a lot stronger. They had to like weaken it because people kept like gluing themselves together. Which I think is like the funniest thing in the world, because like it's pretty easy to do. You can accidentally glue yourself together, but like people were gluing themselves together and getting so irritated about it that it made them change the product. Sir McBeardsley asked if I've got any fun plans the weekend. So this weekend we are gonna probably jump in this garden, and we got a lot of gardening work to do, which is great. I love that. And then I'm not sure. I think we've got, let's see, it's adult weekend, so I think, yeah, because we went to like, wasn't Mother's Day last weekend or something? Anyway, so I think it's adult weekend, which means we're going to be playing a game. We'll either be playing D&D with the kids if they're feeling it, because trust me, if they're not feeling it, you definitely don't want them playing a role-playing game on a table. It'd make you crazy. But also, I'm starting a little bit of a vampire game with the adults of that same group. So we're, we have, it's friends weekend. So the friends come over and we play the game, and depending on which game everybody wants to play, is what we do. Sherman Beardsley again says, I remember the days of not being able to get super glue off for a few days, and now I get off in a matter of minutes. Oh yeah, this stuff that I had some of it accidentally fall on my finger, and it's already starting to like get to where it comes off. When I very first opened it, it was leaking. It flung down onto my finger, and there's just like a little bit of it right there, and it'll come off in a second. All right, so we don't want to glue these two sections together because we want to be able to paint them in between. So we're not going to do those just yet. That's done. We need to work on her hair for that, and I don't know that we want to glue those together yet either. So we're going to glue her legs together next, but we're not going to glue them into the dress. There's sockets in the dress where they both go down in there. We're not going to do that quite yet. We're going to wait and do that later. The same thing with this little chain piece. That's going to go in because we want to paint. We want to paint these things in sections. So we actually want to paint this before we attach this to it. There's also still a few of these little things that are hanging on in here. Some little connectors from the deal. And we need to look at how we're going to fix that. I've done our experiment, so we're going to take a look at the experiment. here in just a second because we're going to work on these legs. We can also we can get this done, and we can probably get this whole base glued together, which would be nice just to have all these pieces out of our way. So we can fix this today because it got broken in shipping, and we'll put that together, and then I guess we'll figure out what to do with these arrows whenever. Those probably are going to have to go in last. It came with these little arrows. That's kind of hard to know exactly where they go because there's no like real marking on the deal. We might be able to put her arms together. Son's sword. I think we'll probably do the sword as a separate piece, but maybe not. We'll kind of have to, you know how it goes. We're gonna play it as we work. Okay, so quit messing around. So we did this experiment yesterday with this little bit of milliput, and today we're gonna come back and we're gonna try and sand that stuff down. And we want to do it on a test section that's going to be kind of hidden away underneath all our stuff before we do it on something where we're going to see it. Sir Regis says, man, I'd love to pick up Curse of Shroud, but it's so hard to get D&D sessions together sometimes. Oh man, you have to have a group of people that really want to do it. This is these are friends of ours that our kids are kind of the same age, and so they all the kids want to play together already, and that kind of helps. And that didn't do too bad. I think if we keep working on this technique, this might work for filling in those pops, the polyps and the pockmarks. Because it's a little bit of both. It's strange because like some of it's raised and some of it isn't, and some of it is the design of the model. So you got to be careful because we don't want to take off anything that's part of the actual design itself. Like down here, there's some filigree. We don't want to completely erode that. This piece here, there's a little bit of a line, and it's hard to tell if that line is a print error or if it's supposed to be there. But there's a couple of them, and it kind of adds to the mystique of it a little bit. I think some of it's supposed to be gashes. I don't know why it would be raised, though. That doesn't make any sense. It's not the same on this one either. Could be a printer error. It could be just part of the design. I'm not going to file it off. We're going to work it into the design a little bit, just because it'll give the thing a little bit more character. That worked out pretty good. Good experiment. Good experiment. So that means we're going to have to do that on some other pieces, which is all right. Let's glue these guys together first, and then we'll do all our milliput stuff at the end towards the end of the episode. That is what we want to do. All right, so these are the parts that go into the legs, are the ones on the slopes. So we need to fit their actual legs to these, but we kind of need to think about things. We need to make sure we're doing it the right way. So that one goes in there. And that one goes in there. And again, we're not going to glue those in yet. We're just trying to figure out which foot goes to which joint. Alright, so here's number one. So these two are going to go together, and these two are going to go together. Let's take a look at this. So I got a little bit of a gap right there in the back, but again, you're not going to see that. I guess that's like her thigh, because that's not armor. This one's armored. She's such an interesting creature. None of this is the same. Like, none of the parts are the same. They're all different. Okay. Alright. Well, that one goes in pretty clean. Okay. So funny. Again, I like this stuff because it's not going to run around on me. It's gel, so it stays pretty good. We'll set these together. We might end up having to do a little bit of some mill put work with it later on. We'll find out. Here, Bobby, hold this for me. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. I'll pull them out so everybody can see that because that's funny. There you go. My Bob Ross bobblehead is my leg holder. I'm such a dork. And I don't care. I like being a dork. So you can do this either way. You can, when they're this big, it doesn't matter. You can do the posts or you can do the hole. Whichever one you want to squirt your glue in. And I said glue. I was an L in there. Promise. Can you hold both of them? Can you hold both of them, Bobby? You're a good man, Bob. Appreciate you. Okay. It's kind of fun seeing them standing there. The legs standing there. Because that's... Anyway. Okay, so that is going to have to go a certain direction to match that massive cape down here. And this is another one of those situations where we don't actually want to glue all of this stuff together because we want to be able to paint some of this stuff first. That way we can get behind it and really make sure it's set up properly. But putting it together dry fit wise will help us kind of look at it and make a decision on what we need to do with it. We're lucky that one little one we had to fake is down towards the bottom, so it's definitely not going to be super noticeable. So that's good for us. Just set that right there. Always grab, if you notice I'm pinching that right there, just twist that back on, because like any kind of squeeze on these tubes and that glue is just going to go right out, which is why I put a little bit on there. Hopefully I can keep it from getting my cap too funky. My cap gets too funky is when you have a serious problem. Sit there in there. That one's holding pretty good already. Use that little cradle there. Let's check our legs. Yep. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate you. He's back off to paint his happy little trees and his fluffy little skies. I don't think the world deserves Bob Ross. He was too good of a guy. Alright, let's see. Where's a place where it's broke? Right there. And this piece right here. Get this glued back together. And again, we don't actually want to put this on here until we get this painted. But the swords, we should be able to just go straight ahead and put the sword pieces in. But this, we want to glue and get this fixed. And it'll lay on there anyway once it's glued. So, how am I doing? I have glue out. Doop, doop, doop. And this is the spot where I especially like having that gel glue on these little lines, because I can do this. Again, just another reason to keep skewers around, little bamboo skewers. There's so many things that a little skewer can solve. Great. Well, that went together solid. That went together real fast too. I like that. It's the way we want it. Okay, so just very gently let that hang out. As a matter of fact, here, Bobby, why don't you go ahead and hold that again. Hey, wait a minute. There's some holes. I bet you those arrows go in those little holes. That would make sense. That would make sense. Anyway, Bobby, we're going to use you to kind of hold that piece again. There we go. That should keep that there. Those are done. That's done. Let's take a look at these arms. We can probably go ahead and set this arm. No, I think I want to paint this arm before we set it in there. That's the direction it's supposed to go. I think I want to get in there and paint this before we put that in there. So we're going to leave that alone as well. And that's just kind of how you make these decisions. You just kind of go through each piece and you look at it and say, okay, do we want to attach this or not? It's like these two pieces might benefit from having some. A lot of times it's whether or not it needs the mold put in these crevices. And this might actually benefit from that. So we may want to put that joint together, but not necessarily this joint. So we may get part of this torso done and then come back and do the rest of this. Although it probably wouldn't make that big a difference, since this isn't super, there's not a lot of work here, and this is all probably going to be one main color with some washing. Probably could get away with gluing it all the way up, because all that's going to end up pretty black. Might look better glued up too. Is that a piece of damage? Yep. So there's a small damage right there. Now this definitely came from, let's see if you can get it to focus. Now, anyway, so it's kind of hard to see in my camera because my camera's trash, but this little pock mark is where part of this brocade or whatever this is that's on the outside of her forearm piece, the support that was there broke off, and it broke this chunk out of it when it came off. And you can see that because the pock marks from where the support is running all the way down this line. So you can tell that that's what happened. Okay. Definitely coming through with that trick. I'm super excited about that. I'm excited. It worked really, really well. Yep. was I doing? I was talking. See, and that may be another reason. That may be a reason why we don't want to put this on here, because we do want to kind of get in there. But it's pretty open, so not terribly worried about it. It will. So you got to weigh all these factors, and there's no right or wrong answer. There's just whatever it is you think is the best thing for you to do. Because in the end, you're the one that has to put together. Getting this to be a strong bond is going to be nice for picks. So now we can. Oh my gosh! Just throwing it around, because why the heck not? We don't necessarily, we might end up gluing these pieces together, because we really need to get this addressed. This gap where that mix-up happened. And if that's the case, we definitely don't want to put that in there, because we won't be able to get in here and do this work. So we want to wait to put this section in here. So this is going to be a solid, we're going to put this together as one solid piece, and then we're going to get her midsection put together properly. Because she's just gonna need a little body sculpting. It's all right. It's 2024, man. Should totally be okay with body sculpting. I need to get on some body sculpting. Go work in that yard. Get some of my body back into a shape that's not round. There we go. All right. We're gonna let that cure. Set it like that. Okay, great. Now, okay, so let's take a look at our movement real quick. Hopefully she's set up enough for us to do this. It'd be fine. It'd be good if I don't drop her. It'll be fine. Okay. Okay, so the movement on the piece is going from right to left with the close. Oh, golly, she's so pretty. This is gonna look so good. This is a dynamic pose. She's gonna look great. Not as quite as dynamic as the other one, the Malekith, but pretty flippin' dynamic. Okay. So the reason we did that, for those of you following along at home. So we know which way these things are going. So that means that this has to be... The swords are going to have a very specific direction they need to go. I'm trying to figure out which ones fit better where. See, okay, so this one definitely is this. Goes on this guy. How is it blowing that way, though? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense, though. But the cloak is blowing the other way. Does she go on the other way? I don't think so. Pretty sure that's the back. Maybe not. Yeah, no, that's the right direction. Maybe? Maybe not. Oh wait, no, this foot goes here. This foot goes here. And this foot goes here. Yeah, so why in Sam Hill would you have that blade going that way? That doesn't make any damn sense. That is definitely the way it goes in, though. You can tell by the way this is shaped. Oh well, we're going to go with the way they built it. We're not going to be messing around with all that. That's ridiculous. But that is definitely not. That's not how reality works. Unless because if the winds were swirling, it would pull her cloak back across her. Just for anybody who's kind of like wants to know a little bit about how sculpting, how your motion should work. No, I mean, I guess there's probably some sort of situation that can cause this to happen. So we're not, like I said, we're not going to stress it too much. I'm not going to worry about it all that much. It's kind of, it would be a silly thing to get super hung up on. But if I were designing it, I would definitely have to go the other way. Just because I like that, I guess. Okay, I think that's all the gluing we need to do for today. I mean, I guess we could glue the sword into this part of the hand if we wanted to. Just to have it up out of the way. Does look like maybe we need to do a little cleaning on it. Do I need a file or a knife? I'll go with a knife. So I don't know if this is just a misprinting or what. Could just be a little section of it that got dried on there wrong. But there's just a little part that's not sliding up inside of the wrist. Socket into the forearm. Okay. There we go. God, you almost don't even need to glue that. Oh, she's gonna be so cool. Heck yeah. That's gonna look great. Okay. That's all that's dry fitted. Let's throw just touch of glue in there, and we're going to get this part in. And then comes the part that I'm dreading, just trying to do all this sculpting on some of this stuff. I like sculpting, but I also am terrified of it, because it's like, oof. Heck yeah. She's gonna look so wicked. Heck yeah. This looks great. Okay. Gotta remember to do the little loop for that. That didn't turn out too shabby, so those are done. Okay. We're pretty much done with this for now. My goal is to be painting as soon as possible next week, perhaps Monday. Okay. Pull that other stuff back over here in a minute. Alrighty. Do the milliput thing again. I love this stuff. And it's not super expensive either. And it's a great companion to your green stuff if you're already familiar with green stuff. Green stuff holds a little bit more sturdy, but in a way, it's like a, I don't know, I mean, maybe not more sturdy. It's hard to describe the difference, honestly. I've definitely gotten where I like milliput almost better than I've ever liked green stuff. The great mixing. It's like those roller videos you see on the social medias these days, where they're putting them in the roller and it mixes the colors. I'm always mixing it more than I need. Forever mixing it more than I need. That's okay. Amski doodles dunskies. Alright, so first things first, we need to work on this section of her dress. Bring that down again. Making everybody's favorite the snake. If you've never made the snake, then I don't know what happened to you. But you should go make a clay snake or something. It's fun. And kind of therapeutic. Okay. So I'm just going to put a little water in here. I've been noticing this works a little bit better. Especially when these gaps are wide. When they're really tight, it's not a big deal. Like, it doesn't mind. It'll stick on its own, no problem. But when it's not, it's big and it's like you just keep shoving it in there and it never seems to fill. There we go. And again, you could use a needle or whatever tool you had to achieve this. My snake broke. There's a snake in my boots. Love the idea of like Toy Story existing in my house, because like that would mean my entire cabinet of miniatures is like having a party every night. They're probably hanging out with one of the boys has a bunch of this Imaginext stuff. He was super into it for a long time, and we still have tons of it. And it's kind of funny to think about them hanging out with the D&D guys and the Warhammer guys, because you'd have like, that way you could have like Batman hanging out with a dragon. I don't know, I've always liked the Toy Story kind of idea. I've always thought it was neat. I think we kind of always wanted our toys to be alive. Try to make sure you're not obscuring too many details. And this one's funny because, again, she's got a cloak on, so you're not going to see any of this, but we're doing it anyway because I'm a completionist. I guess I like to have things done. It looks like she's missing a bit of her belt, so we're going to make that work for us. Repair that missing belt while we're here. Spin that stuff right off the tip. Go. Time flies when you're having fun. We're going to be painting sometime next week, but it ain't going to be on Monday. was not. I keep forgetting she had that weird misprint. And it's one of those where it's within the acceptability parameters. Like it's yeah, there's an error, but it's not so bad that you would throw the print away, you know. It's just minor. And if you have a good model, a good modeler, modelist, artist, whatever, you can usually get all that fixed. Okay. Definitely glad I put my gloves on today. This is a whole lot easier when you have gloves. It likes to stick to your fingers, so using gloves is definitely the answer. But sometimes, you know, I just get going and I just get going. I don't remember the gloves. And just try to duplicate the folds of what's happening as you're coming down into the belt. The main thing to do is, though, is separate that edge from that belt. Because otherwise it will definitely look, it will not look right. Because she a skinny meanie. So tedious. So tedious. Jamming little bits of clay down inside little crevices. And that's where you kind of have to decide how much of it you really wanted to mess with, where that stopping line is. Some of it won't make that much of a difference. Like these cracks right here in this front, they're not going to be as noticeable as those other ones that are right here in these sides. But we may decide to go ahead and fill them in anyway, just to have it done. And it probably won't take much just to seal it. Okay, alright. And we still need to make that other little loop, which we can do that easily. Come here. Okay, you put that over there. Hopefully my cat didn't step on it this time. 53. Okay, let's take a look at this hair and see what we can do about this. And then we're going to put some of this wet stuff in some of these holes, and then we'll be done for today. See how bad off we are here. Yeah, you can see where we had some issues. This is probably gonna have to be glued together, and then we're gonna have to put the mill put in there from there. No other real option, I think, just from my observation. Because it doesn't go like that, it goes like this. For sure. Let's get it set to where it sits this way. I'm having a little trouble getting it to set. It will set here in a second though. Just gotta be patient. maybe need a little on the head too. Maybe we made it all the way through that song. Okay, that means we're getting close to an hour. I'm betting. Okay. Yeah, that'll probably help. I might have to put this in later. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe a way to stand this up. She's gonna be so great. This face may be my bet. This will be one of my better faces. It's a bigger piece than I'm used to being able to paint on, so I'm super excited to get to her face. So we're gonna put a little extra lower on that face right there. Still not quite dry. Well, we might need to let this one dry overnight in order to get it right. So I'm gonna put it in this little cup. I'm gonna let it set and dry. So meanwhile, try to fix some of these little pop marks. We found that technique yesterday that worked out really well. Getting this stuff super wet. I don't know that mixing this on my mat's the best idea, but it seems like better than mixing it on the model. Okay. Now we got one clean hand, one not so clean hand. Oh yeah. Yeah, just like wood filler, honestly. I think that is the texture from the print. I don't think that's the texture of her dress. Now we don't want to lose any of these crevices, so we definitely want to come back and get rid of any of the excess putty that's stuck in. So crazy. This is a lot of extra work for something that we're barely going to see in the finished model, but I'm a craftsman, you know. You have a piece fall off? Looks like something got broken. I did not see a piece, but there's definitely a part missing. It's in the back. Maybe it was gone. I don't feel like it was. Oh well. No, that's not it. It's something else. Okay, so we're making another little loop then. This one's missing part of its edge as well. My weird ass paintball. For those of you who don't know about the paintball, I'm gonna save that until it gets really big, and then we're gonna cut it in half and do something with it. Maybe like build a magic portal for our terrain pieces or something kind of fun like that. Okay, so now we'll let that set up, and then we're gonna make one of these loops. Loop, loop-a-doop, loop-a-doop. Slips are a little bit bigger. Alright, that ought to do that. So we got one little loop and one bigger loop for our dress and our piece there. Those dry. It looks like her head is finally on there. Oh, great. Okay. So we're going to put in a little bit of filler first, and then maybe try to get a little sculpting in there real quick. So really don't want to be waiting around on her for too long. Or waiting on her hair, I mean. And if I can get to use, the more of the mill put I can use when it's mixed, the better. Keep my costs down. Now this one, we really want to make sure it is backfilled real good. loosen this a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to go a little longer than normal today, which is all right. We definitely want to make sure that we keep the movement of that hair the best we can. Just add a little bit of that movement to that hair will really help you. Even if it's just basic strikes, like you don't have to make it fancy. And you don't have to try and get every single one exactly perfect. Just give it a couple little movements to make it stand out that this is supposed to be the same hair coming down. With this, it's a little easier than it would be if you didn't have the hair attached to it, if you're just sculpting it by itself, because you can kind of use the hair that's there to guide you. Now see this part right here, they probably should have reprinted that, honestly. This hair got really goobered. I mean, if it were me, I would have reprinted it, but I'm also not doing that part as like a business, so my perspective on it might be a little different. Now remember, the hair doesn't grow out of your neck like that, so we want to make this kind of go down behind like that. There we go. And this stuff, it will, if you need to make lines and stuff in it, it works better if it's wet. But not like soaking wet. Okay, this is the one major thing I was super worried about, so and it looks like it's going to be all good. We're going to have this done today, which is way ahead of what I thought towards the end of this session. I was like, oh, there's no way I'm going to make it all the way to this. And here we are. Almost done. So satisfying. Okay. Excellent. Alright, now that is all done. And we are not going to have to mess with that. Which is great. This is super exciting. Okay. That's pretty good for government work. Let's go ahead and do the other part of this with that little treatment technique. Just get these obvious pock marks, right? Some of those look like they might be they could be disguised as battle damage. Okay. And then, are they noticeable? No, they're all on the back. Okay, so I'm not going to stress it. And then this part sits over the top of this. So I have a few of them here to do. Oof, got a little bit of damage right there. That actually looks like a misprint. We're going to have to come back to that next week. Don't have to worry about all the way up there because of the other part that covers it. Okay. I really like this little thing. If it continues to work really well for us, and we keep developing it, could be a very, very, very good skill to have. Little bag in the little bag of tricks. Because I've always hated those little holes. It always made me crazy. I'd be painting it and then there's a little hole in it and you're like, ugh. Still trying to decide what's the easiest way to put this on here though. There we go. So many little guys. That one's gonna have to be cut out. That's actually a burr and not a pockmark. Golly, they're everywhere. Oh, this will come off when we go to sand, when we file it down. We'll have to do that on Monday. Give us one last chance to make sure everything looks good before we get priming. I actually may do that myself off camera, that way we can come back all primed on Monday. That'd be nice. Okay, that ought to do that. I might come in here and knock out this stuff over the weekend, some of this stuff, just so you guys don't have to sit there and wait on it. But we are looking pretty fantastic. Oh my. Yeah, she's gonna look amazing. For sure. Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and let all of this stuff set up. I'm gonna put that over the top of those. Maybe that way the cat won't step on it. Because she's coming. And that'll be us for the day. Oh, yeah, like an hour and 20 today, which is awesome. Like, we're usually only an hour. For those of you who maybe are watching this for the first time, if you catch this somewhere down the road, I'm usually on for about an hour on weekdays. Sometimes I have other things, you know, I have kids and I have adult life, you know, things happen. But, for the most part, every weekday, I'm here. Same time, Central Time, US, from 1 until 2. Sometimes longer, like today. Come by, check us out, see what we got to do. Maybe give us a like, subscribes, those sort of things. Makes things really awesome. Makes me feel really good as a person. And I think that's all I got. So you guys have a great weekend, and happy Friday and all that, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.